Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one for you. So once again, we're going to go to the dumpster fire known as TikTok to talk about
Lesbians. Lesbians. Lesbian. Lesbians. Lesbians. Lesbian.
That's right, guys, lesbians. Guys, we're going to talk about lesbian bed death today. That's an actual term. That's an actual term, you guys. And this is when these lesbians get together and like, oh my God, there's no men. I'm with a woman and we understand each other and we have amazing sex and everything's gonna be great. Nothing could ever go wrong. And then about 2 years into the relationship, the sex completely stops and they find out
You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
all of a sudden they have no sex whatsoever, none. It's funny that these lesbians are complaining about the same things men do. Oh, the wife doesn't put out. So we're gonna get into this, guys, but before we do, like, subscribe, drop a comment, because it really helps keep this channel going. And check out my second channel linked in the description, guys, and let's go.
Lesbian Bed Death. Let's talk about it. Some of you might not know what I'm talking about, so let me break it down.
Let's let her break it down.
The term was coined by a sociologist, sexologist also, named Pepper Schwartz. See, they started doing studies in the 1980s. Masters and Johnson did some studies, and then other sexologists did studies with everybody, really, but they specifically asked questions of people who were in lesbian relationships. And this was in regards to their relationships, to their sex lives, to their work, to everything. And what they found was that there were differences, and people reported different rates of how much they were intimate and what their relationships looked like down the line. So the term actually entered the queer lexicon in 1987 at a national LGBTQ task force rally. And since then, it has...
What the hell is an LDHG TV task force rally? Imagine how that looks, right, guys? Oh, well, guys, we can all sum up how that would look, right?
Has really been one of the big buzzwords in the lesbian community. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, I always thought that when lesbians hooked up, there was like this intense intimacy and that it was superior in many ways.
There it
and
is.
That they tend to be intimate more often and for longer amounts of time. And therein lies part of the problem. For a lot of lesbian relationships, there's this concept called fusion, or the urge to merge. Meaning that a lot of people in these relationships tend to be very impulsive and jump in quickly to these committed relationships. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but the fact is that can affect your sex life. And sometimes, down the line, we see a decrease in that sex life. So what do y'all think about this? Comments, questions, concerns? Let's talk about lesbian bed death.
There you go. Guys, her hashtags. Hashtag lesbian. Hashtag femme. Hashtag mass. Hashtag lesbian bed death. Hashtag lesbian TikTok. Clown world, right? And guys, people are in the comments are saying, hold on. This has been an issue with my wife and I, and we've been together for years. I was a hoe before her, so it's crazy that this is an issue. And this other person says, hold on, I'm in it right now. I have attempted to talk to my wife years ago. She doesn't want to talk about it. Years later, she wants it, but I'm happier now without it. Clown world. Hey guys, we're going to go through a few more of these, but how much you going to bet that they're going to blame us men somehow? Clown world.
Recently, my girlfriend and I were doing a cute little thing looking up different lesbian titles. So I'm new to the lesbian world, so I wanted to hear all the different ones available. So mask, femme, power lesbian, chapstick lesbian, the whole gamut. And I came across one that has been on my mind for a while now, which is Lesbian Bed Death. And it's essentially that, like, when you stop having sex because you're so comfortable. And I want to talk about why that is so rooted in misogyny.
There it is, guys. There it is. I knew it. 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 Misogyny. Two women not banging each other is somehow misogyny. I fucking knew it. I knew it, you guys. You knew this was going to happen. You knew it. We knew it, guys. We knew it. Man, oh man, oh man. What a knucklehead.
Like, it's still rooted in this idea that, like, women are not sexual beings, that we don't crave sex in the same way that men do, that we just can easily slip into sexless marriages and relationships. And I find this really odd because women are sexual beings. We crave sex. We love sex. All of this. And especially when you are removed from, like, male-centric world.
There it is again.
And now you can enjoy sex without the purity culture. I would argue that there is more sex. But
well, obviously, she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about because she's getting bodied in her comments, man. She's getting bodied. All these chicks are saying, what are you talking about? She's saying this happens all the time, all the time. This is definitely a thing. It's definitely real. It's a real thing. There's tons on Reddit for this. I'm in a sexless marriage now. Someone said, I thought that this was going to be about a band, Lesbian Bed Death. Right? It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Look at this. This is normal in our community. Look at that. Look at that. Lesbian bed death, someone says, is impactful and real because women do desire sex with their partner, but when the aspect leaves the relationship, it's hard. Look at that. Look at that. So she's getting bodied in her own comments, guys.
either way.
Oh, her hashtags, guys. Hashtag lesbian. Hashtag women love women. Hashtag lesbian bed death. Hashtag LBD. Hashtag sapphic. Hashtag long-term relationship. Clown world.
Right, relationships do experience that ebb and flow, but it's weird that there is a term specifically for lesbian women. Considering I just took this like mini course on human sexuality, and they were saying
you did.
1 in 4 hetero relationships are sexless. Okay? And by sexless, I mean 10 or less times a year. So why is there a term, a special term, lesbian bed death, but we're not making a term like that for hetero relationships?
There is. It's called marriage. Right? There is a term that guys use for a long-term relationship where you're not getting any, and that's marriage. Guys, has that not been the stereotype about marriage for the last like 30, 40 years? You get married, the sex stops, right? And all these women, they hear that stereotype and go,
How dare you?
but it's true. All the sitcoms, all that. It's dudes are not getting any because their wife won't put out, or their wife is using sex as a weapon against them to make them do stuff. It's a common trope in all of our media, and this knucklehead can't put 2 and 2 together. And it's funny, guys. I find it rich that she just, like, she said that she's new to the lesbian scene, and she's trying to have an opinion on something that happens to couples way down the line. She hasn't even been a lesbian long enough to have an opinion on this. And the previous girl said that girls jump into things and everything's great, but because lesbians tend to be so impulsive, right? That it seems great at first, but it's not good. in the long term. So that just basically means that they're more like women than any other women, right? Impulsive and not forward thinking at all. But now she's trying to say that there's some type of, it's offensive that this word was made when it was made by a female sexologist and adopted by lesbians. Men didn't do this. And of course, they have to call us misogynists. Clown world.
Typically, at about the 2-year mark of a relationship, you've exited the honeymoon phase and you know each other more. You've experienced more time and more life together. You've seen each other through some ups and downs. You've seen some things in each other that you didn't know in the first 3 months, right? And for some couples, along with this can come less sexual desire, like without the mystery, without just like not really knowing the person, and with with familiarity, right? You know what they like, right? There can be, for some couples, not for all, but there can be a little bit of a lull in the drive, in the desire to continue to be sexual. So in this case, what happens a lot with couples is they start to point at one another.
There it is. There it is. and this woman here she's the lesbian curiosity coach. She's a sexologist. So some people are saying, oh, this lesbian bed death thing is not a real thing. She's an expert, quote unquote, in the field. She's saying that it's real. Isn't it funny how there's two women in this type of relationship, and usually they have a man in a hetero relationship to blame stuff on, but now they're pointing at each other. And the only way to actually solve that is if one of them takes accountability, and we all know that that's not going to happen.
She's not working out. She stopped taking care of herself. She's not eating well. She's not doing anything to turn me on. She's not initiating.
Doesn't that sound like what they say to men about dating? Oh, he's not communicating. He's not initiating. These lesbians are actually understanding what it's like to be a man, even getting down to getting married and not getting any sex.
She's not wearing those sexy jeans I love, whatever it is. So what I want to tell you is, if you are in this place where you have a lull, right, which is also normal, right? Life happens. There are stressors from outside life that happen at all times. So health, illness, aging parents, children, whatever it is, things happen. But I'm not talking about those outside stressors. I'm talking about just everyday normal life, and there's a lull. And you've noticed it. What can you do? Don't point at your partner and say they're not turning you on, right? That is not a way to reignite any kind of desire in your relationship.
How many women are going to do that?
And you're going to ask yourself, what are you doing?
So she expects women to actually hold themselves accountable. Guess what, lady?
You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
It's never going to happen, ever. Ever. Guys, for hashtags, hashtag lesbian bed death, hashtag lesbian lover, hashtag lesbian lovers, hashtag coming out later in life, hashtag LDHG TV TikTok, hashtag sexuality coach, hashtag coming out after marriage. Oh, she's one of those. Hashtag lesbians of TikTok over 30.
To create desire in the relationship between you and your partner. Are you exercising? You need to be moving. What else can you do? You can interact with the world around you and learn new things, get out into the world, have new experiences, learn something new, get involved in pottery or a new exercise class or a new art exhibit that you...
So in order to get more sex from your wife as a woman, Get involved in pottery? Did you guys just hear that? Get involved in pottery.
You love, or a really cool film, or whatever it is. Get involved with things outside of the home that you can then bring back into the relationship to feed the relationship.
Think about that. She said, try and go to the gym. Imagine if a guy said, hey, ladies, in order to have a better marriage, you should get your butt in the gym. All these chicks would say,
How dare you?
guys, I'm going to keep this going, man, because there's a whole lot more on the internet about lesbian bed death, man, straight up. But isn't it funny how they think that they're going to go over to the other side and there's no men around it. It's going to be dolphins and rainbows and sunrise and no men and, you know, smash the patriarchy in the bedroom by munching each other's clams or whatever. And then they end up out here, you know, in this sexist relationship, and they finally find out, guys.
The night is dark and full of terrors.
All right, you guys, this is AJ. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe. I'm out of here.